And he nods. I guess I can get the barracks map up and we can pick a nice little room. That means I gotta go to Immiger. Oh, Nodal's Valentine was still there on screen. Lovely. God bless him. Yeah, let me get the barracks out here. I keep forgetting I have maps for all these. Should take any opportunity possible to use them. Alright, so yeah, here you go. He takes you up to his private quarters. Up on level 2 of the barracks. One of these officers' rooms. Which is usually off limits for people outside of the faction. But considering the sensitive nature of the subject matter, he brings you in, closes the door, and his quarters are just very, very simple. Simple bed, writing table, a potted plant in one corner. Not even an outward-facing window in this room. But he lights up a small lantern, and sits down, and asks you to tell him what you know.
I'll tell him that we made our way to Eastgard, wandered up the infinite stairway, retrieved the package, but were unable to open it, and one of my companions is carrying it right now. I trust this guy, basically.
Okay. He says that right now, our main concern is that the Mercy Killers will find Diller before we do. Nylesia has sent some of her Justicars off to hunt him down. And we don't have any leads other than this box.
Do you have any idea how we might be able to open it?
He says that the Harmonium have access to high-level magics. They should be able to open essentially any box they get their hands on.
Hell of a pickup line.
If you're able to retrieve this box, turn it over to the custody of the Harmonium. I'll see that you're well compensated for your time. You've been nothing but helpful in this entire investigation. But be warned that if you're not able to do this, if you refuse, we may have to step in as the authority of Sigil. We may have to use our clout. I'd rather it not come to that.
I mean, the main thing I'd be interested in is continuing finding out what's going on with these slavers rather than any sort of money.
This is exactly why I want to get my hands on it. If the Harmonium are able to open the box, examine its contents, if this was an item important to Diller, we may be able to fish him out. We may be able to get a hold of him before the Mercy Killers do. And then he can face our interrogations, which may in turn lead to further arrests in the slavery ring. If the Mercy Killers get him, they'll kill him, and that's the end of it. They say they seek justice, but it's only blood they seek. Don't be fooled by the propaganda. Clearly no love lost between the half-dwarf and the Mercy Killers.
Well, I'll see what I can do. Who do you trust to actually open the box? I'll say right now that some of my companions are fairly paranoid.
He says that there are wizards in the Harmonium that will have no trouble opening any kind of magical container.
And will we be able to be present and see what you get out of it? I think as long as we can be present at all times, I might be able to convince them.
He's not sure he sees the wisdom in that. He says once you turn the box over to us, it will become our jurisdiction. It should come as a relief to you and your companions, frankly, to not have to hold this thing any longer.
I mean, I want to see it through to the end, and I expect the others either agree or are paranoid enough not to let it out of their sight.
Roll a persuasion check. Charisma persuasion. You got to beat an 18.
I'll believe point that.
Okay.
No. 11.
He says he'll see what he can do, but he can make no promises.
Okay.
And then he thanks you for your time, and you're escorted out of the barracks. Is anybody doing anything... Well, let's go back to Riot. Riot, your handbills are done.
Okay.
Your 200 handbills took a couple of days to get done.
Alright, and I'll employ the same board youth on the street distribution network.
So where are you distributing these handbills?
Can we go back to the Ciclon map for a second?
Yep, there it is.
Let's see. Where should I have this concert? Somewhere near the mortuary, I think.
Okay.
Let's see.
That could be kind of a dangerous place.
Yeah. Let's say that it's happening at a bar in the Alley of Dangerous Cycles.
Okay.
So this is where some bar over here.
You have some slight difficulty talking the proprietor of this bar to let you play the show there, because it's not really the kind of place where minstrels go to play, if you take his meaning. In this part of town, it's mostly just for depressed drunks to go in and drop the 3 or 4 coppers that are in their pocket. He's not really sure why he understands why your band wants to use his establishment for this show. I mean, he's not against it, considering it'll drum up business. He thinks you're playing some weird angle on him.
Oh, I am.
You are.
Some dangerous angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's see. So I'm gonna put it in 4 batches of 50.
Okay.
Let's say here, and a couple places in the market board, we'll say.
Okay. Now, the bazaar has changed slightly since you all have been out of town. Those of you who spent some time in the bazaar over the course. Now that's no longer taking place. Travel is free into and out of the bazaar, but tensions inside are still high. It's still very well populated, but now a lot of the people you rub elbows with throughout the bazaar are not shoppers or merchants, but are armed indepts who just seem to be standing around. Really looks like everybody there is spoiling for a fight. So you spend the majority of the day getting your handbills handed out and securing this particular bar. Would you like to name this bar?
Yeah, let me go to everyone's favorite website.
TrumpDonald.org.
Google.com.
See, place names. What was it? Tavern names? Or yeah, I think that was it.
Water park ride names generator.
I kind of like. Oh, this is good for a place here. The Dead Heart Bar.
The Dead Heart. Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any more business on the 26th or on the following day, the 27th?
Wait, is that H-A-R-T or H-E-A-R-T?
H-E-A-R.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to get together and talk to some of the people about the plans for this box. So I'm going to go... So I've already talked to Ciclon. I'm going to go see Mahogany at some point.
Mahogany, there's a knock on the door.
You actually catch Mahogany with his hand on the front door. Because he has a feeling that Serenity's back. So he's going to go see her.
But it's not Serenity, it's Riot.
And I go, Riot, good news. Come with me.
Oh, where are we going?
Serenity's.
Okay.
Boxes.
The one I've got. This box. And she takes it out and shows them.
I said that's the good position to be in, people wanting your box.
Also.
Wow.
What are you going to give them the box for?
Oh, I haven't thought about it yet. Depends on what he's offering, I suppose.
Alright, and you don't want to have the problem anymore. So you put the problem in the bag.
Uh-huh.
No more problem.
The bag swallows problems.
It's been working pretty good for me.
Huh.
I haven't had to deal with any trash removal recently.
I think the bag that swallows problems might end up being this session's tagline.
Right.
And I say there is what's his name? Bobrick? Bobrick was by the other day.